Billionaire saves struggling single mom's twins with insane generosity. You won't believe this. In a town where silence crept in like a thief, folks whispered rumors about the mysterious billionaire who suddenly appeared. Lisa, a single mom barely scraping by, had two twins who brought her joy but also heartbreak. Every night she prayed for a miracle, and little did she know, tonight would change everything. The darkened clouds churned above, reflecting the storm brewing within her heart. Just when she thought all hope was lost, an unexpected knock shattered the stillness. She opened the door to find a figure draped in shadows, eyes glowing with strange intensity. The air thickened, electric with tension. Was this enchantment or a nightmare? As soon as the man crossed the threshold, the world seemed to tilt on its axis. He looked at the twins, seated innocently on the couch, and smiled a smile that hinted at secrets locked away in the deepest vaults of his heart. "Do you believe in second chances?" he asked, his voice low and smooth like velvet. It sent chills down her spine. Second chances, a breath of hope in her barren existence. Just as she was about to answer, her mind raced back to the eviction notice on the table. "I'll do anything," she finally whispered, desperation spilling from her lips. The man took a step closer, the atmosphere thickening like fog. He reached into his jacket and revealed a small envelope. The weight of it seemed to whisper promises of an unimaginable transformation. "This isn't just money. It's a lifeline." Suddenly, the sound of a raging storm outside drowned out their voices. Thunder clapped like a drum, shaking the very foundation of the house. The twins jumped, eyes wide, filling with fear. Lisa felt that familiar tightness in her chest, a mix of fear and uncertainty. "What are you saying?" "Well, I was wondering if you wanted the chance to change everything." He grinned. And just like that, her world grew larger and heavier with possibilities, and yet darker with doubts. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." The man's gaze held her imprisoned, uncertainty swirling like autumn leaves in the wind. What was he really after? And why was he offering this insane generosity? The questions hung in the air like thick smoke, choking her thoughts. Then, he leaned in closer, lowering his voice to a whisper that sent shivers down her spine. "There's a catch. It's not just what I can do for your family. It's what you must do in return." Her heart raced. The air grew colder, and she could feel the weight of the unknown pressing down. Was this a stroke of luck or a prelude to disaster? As the rain lashed against the windows, she knew one thing: the storm was only beginning. Lisa felt the room shrink, the walls closing in on her as his words echoed in her mind. A catch. It struck her like the cold wind whipping outside. She wanted to believe him, to let hope seep into her weary heart, but something in his gaze told her this was no ordinary offer. "What do you mean?" Her voice trembled, torn between desire and dread. The twins' eyes were locked onto the strange man, wide in both curiosity and fear. She had to protect them. He hovered in the doorway, the storm casting shadows that twisted around him like dark tendrils. "There are tasks I need done. Nothing harmful, mind you, but they require a certain level of discretion." "Tasks? Think of it as a business arrangement," he said, his smile undeterred by her obvious apprehension. "In exchange for your family's financial stability, you help me navigate through some complexities in my life." "What kind of complexities?" Lisa pressed, clutching her twins closer. Their little bodies felt like anchors, grounding her in this storm of uncertainty. He paused, calculating, as if weighing his words. "Let's just say my business dealings have attracted some attention. Attention I'd like to avoid." A knot twisted in her stomach. At that moment, a flash of lightning illuminated his face, sharpening her perception of the man before her. He had the unmistakable look of someone who had seen both brilliant successes and crushing failures. His charm felt like a mask, hiding motivation she couldn't decipher. As the rain beat harder against the roof, it echoed the racing heartbeat in her chest. "What if I say no?" "Then you return to your struggle," he replied softly, but the weight of his words turned heavy. A shiver ran down her spine. She thought of the eviction notice, the sleepless nights, the strain of keeping the twins happy. Would she really be willing to throw away a chance at stability? A sudden cry came from one of the twins, a whimper that shattered the tension. "Mommy, I'm scared." Lisa knelt to their level, her heart aching with protectiveness. "Sweetie, I'm here. It's okay." Yet nothing felt okay. So many questions spun through her mind, threatening to spiral into a storm of doubt. What could this man possibly want from her? What did he know about her struggles? "Please, Lisa," he urged, stepping back, giving her space to breathe. "Every day you hesitate, things grow darker for your family. This is about control, and I need you to help me regain mine." Control. That word hung heavily in the air, resonating with the fear that simmered inside Jason. The twins' innocence collided with this man's chaos, and in that moment she felt the weight of their future press against her chest like a vice. Taking a deep breath, she felt an ember of determination ignite within her. "I won't do anything illegal or hurt anyone." He nodded, his expression surprisingly earnest. "Excellent. We can work with that." Her pulse quickened. This was a dangerous game they were playing. "Think about it, Lisa. You can provide a better life for your kids while helping me." Another clap of thunder rolled, mirroring the tumult in her heart. The fragile thread of her future dangled in the balance. "Just one question," she said, her voice steely. "Why me, a single mom?" His lips curled into a knowing smile. "Because you understand survival better than anyone else. You're a warrior." As his words sunk in, small tremors erupted through her. Was this true? Was she capable of something bigger than her circumstances? Just as she was ready to respond, the room fell silent, the wind howling outside became a whisper. The door creaked, and she glanced back at her kids, uncertainty etched across their faces. In that stillness, the air shifted again, laden with an unseen heaviness. "I'll need an answer soon," he murmured, stepping back into the shadows as rain roared on. As he disappeared from view, Lisa was left with her twins, wrestling with the choices laid bare before her. Her thoughts collided like lightning strikes in the night, illuminating possibilities that danced along the edge of danger. What awaited if she stepped into this unknown world? The storm, however, had not yet reached its climax. A dark figure stirred outside, watching her with unblinking eyes. Could she truly shield her children from the darkness lurking right at her door? What price was she willing to pay for their future? Thunder rumbled once more, shaking the fragile stillness in the room. Lisa drew in a sharp breath, her heart pounding as she felt a weight settling in her chest. She clutched the twins, their small hands grasping hers with all the strength they could muster. "Stay close," she whispered, fear lacing her words. Outside, the figure loomed larger than life against the flickering streetlight, shrouded in shadows. Each time lightning illuminated the night, Lisa caught glimpses of a malevolent grin, a chill creeping up her spine. What did he want? Why couldn't she shake the feeling of being watched? "Tell me it's going to be okay, Mommy," one of the twins stuttered, and her heart shattered at the sound of his quivering voice. "I promise," she replied, even as doubts gnawed at her own resolve. "I promise we'll be okay." But the truth clawed at her. Would they? With a flash of determination, Lisa broke away from the twins for a moment, heading cautiously to the window. The rain lashed against the glass, and she strained to see who or what was lurking in the shadows. A flicker of movement caught her eye, and she jumped back as the figure stepped closer, revealing their outline in stark clarity from the light. "Are you going to give him your answer?" Her heart dropped. It was her own voice questioning her resolve, nagging at her, exploiting her vulnerability. Suddenly, the door creaked open. The strange man stepped back into view, drenched but unbothered by the storm. "I trust you've thought about my offer?" His eyes glimmered like shriving steel in the dark. She hesitated, wrestling with the gravity of the moment. I don't understand what you need from me. What kind of tasks? Come now, Lisa, he said smoothly, his voice like silk. You know very well the power of information. You've spent years figuring out how to connect the dots under pressure. I need someone like you, someone who can think on their feet. But I'm just a mother, she protested, her resolve wavering. I'm not some operative. Oh, but you are, whether you know it or not. Survival can take on many shapes. You merely have to seize the opportunity. He stepped forward, closing the space between them, breathing in the stormy air. And I bring a solution that could solve your financial woes. A monetary gain that could elevate your children's lives. The twins shuffled behind her, eyes wide and filled with confusion. Mommy? Who is he? He just someone who wants to help, she said, but even she didn't sound convinced. What kind of help? Jason's innocent question punctured the bubble of tension that surrounded them. With a resigned breath, Lisa turned back to the man. What do you want from me? What are these tasks? He smiled knowingly, subtle and dark. Importantly, controlling information is critical. I have contacts that need monitoring. One glance and you'll gain access to insights that can steer everything back in my favor. And yours too. Alarm bells clanged in Lisa's mind. You want me to spy for you? Spy? He laughed lightly. Really, such a strong word. I simply want you to look and report back. You'll never be in harm's way. Think of it like a mini-adventure. Adventure? The very thought made her skin crawl. The twins were everything to her. What if this spiraled into something dangerous? Mommy, I'm scared, cried the other twin, and she turned, her heart breaking further. Still feeling the fear clawing at her resolve, she reached for their hands, squeezing tightly. It's okay. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. I'll never do anything to put us in danger. The man's eyes narrowed, the light shadowing his features. You'll reconsider. Life has many twists, and sometimes a step into darkness is the only way to protect the ones you love. His words hung in the air like smoke, dense and suffocating. A pulse throbbed in her temple as the weight of his gaze pinned her in place. Make your choice soon, Lisa. The storm is only just the beginning. With that, he turned, slipping once more into the night, the promise of chaos leaving with him. As silence reclaimed the room, Lisa's thoughts whirled. She looked down at her trembling children, their faces a mirror of her own fears. But a part of her couldn't shake the thrill that coursed through her at the idea of stepping into the shadows, to reclaim something lost. What heavy price would she have to pay for her family's survival? In the distance, thunder rolled again, echoing the uncertainty swirling inside her. Rain hammered against the windows, steady and unforgiving. Lisa's heart raced as she gathered the twins closer. They needed her strength now, more than ever. Outside, the creeping darkness seemed to throb with life, a shadow that wouldn't let go. Were the whispers of danger already spiraling into their home? Mommy, what did he mean? Jason's wide eyes searched her face, innocent yet pressing with concern. The twins deserved safety, not to be thrust into the chaos of adult decisions. I don't know, she confessed, her voice barely rising above the storm's fury. But we can't let him control us. The words felt flimsy, a paper shield against the looming storm. What if the man returned? What if he had more threats up his sleeve? With a surge of adrenaline, Lisa grabbed her phone from the kitchen counter, her fingers trembling as she scrolled through her contacts. What if she told her sister? No, Sarah couldn't know. If Lisa brought her into this, it wouldn't end well. Who could she trust? Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the house, making the twins gasp. Lisa's heart froze. Stay here, she commanded, her voice firm as she pushed herself off the couch, glancing back at the kids. Don't go! They pleaded in unison, their small voices pleading with a gravity that weighed down her resolve. Yet she couldn't let paranoia bind her. Clenching her jaw, she edged toward the door, straining to hear over the rain's roar. Inching closer, she unlocked the door, her hands steady even as fear coursed through her veins. One deep breath, she pulled the door slightly ajar. "Hello?" she called cautiously into the tempest. Rain splattered against her face, cold and shocking. A figure loomed in the two brief flashes of lightning, their shape obscured by darkness. "Lisa," came a voice, smooth and casual. It wasn't he the man, but someone who seemed equally unsettling. This voice whispered danger, a casual reminder of her precarious situation. "Who are you?" she demanded, panic simmering just beneath her skin. "Someone who wants to help," the figure replied, stepping into the light. It was a woman, drenched but with an air of confidence that cloaked her appearance. "I've been watching." "Watching?" Lisa clenched the door tightly, heart drumming in her chest. "Why? Who are you? The man from earlier? He thinks he is clever. But I know his secrets, Lisa. You don't have to do this alone." Every instinct told Lisa to slam the door shut. But curiosity gripped her. "What do you mean?" The woman stepped closer, revealing a familiar gleam in her eye. "I can provide insight into what he wants. His power lies in manipulation. You could turn the tables on him if you dare." Imagining the possibilities stirred something deep within Lisa, hope and dread intertwined. "What do you want from me?" "Just to expose the truth. To help mothers like you who are caught in the crossfire," the woman said, her tone soothing yet charged with urgency. "He is dangerous, and you must decide how far you're willing to go to protect your children." The air thickened, tension electric in the rain-drenched world outside. Lisa's mind raced. Could this woman be trusted? Was this the ally she desperately needed? "Mommy, please!" a startled voice interrupted. Turning, Lisa saw the twins at the edge of the room, fear etched on their faces. They were her sanctuary, her responsibilities. Somehow, she had to shield them while scrambling to resolve this twisted web around them. Just slowly, Lisa the woman lowered her voice, a strange calmness in her gaze. "You must choose who to side with before the storm breaks further." Lisa swallowed hard, torn between battling her fears and keeping her children safe, and the pull of her own survival instinct flashing dangerously bright. Was she ready for whatever lay ahead? Was it too late to turn back? As another bolt of lightning illuminated the darkened room, illuminating the truth in her heart, she realized her choice held more consequences than she'd ever imagined. The weight of uncertainty bore down heavily, pressing against her resolve. Could she unlock the door to a darker path? In a world where survival called for more than she could bear, would she stand together with this stranger against a common enemy? And just then, the door swung wide, revealing a sinister verification of the woman's intent, a glimmer of the truth awaiting her. As the darkness threatened to swallow them whole, Lisa's life was teetering. What awaited her there, in the shadows? The storm was merely a prelude. The door swung open wider, and the woman stepped fully into the light, shaking rain from her hair like a wet dog. Lisa's heart hammered as the flickering bulb above cast sharp shadows across the stranger's face, revealing a determined smile that felt out of place amidst the chaos. "Time is of the essence, Lisa," the woman urged, her voice low and fierce. "You need to decide, stay here and risk everything, or join me in uncovering what he is really after." Fear and confusion wrestled within Lisa, a tempest that mirrored the storm outside. She glanced back at the twins, who stood frozen by the couch, their tiny hands gripping each other tightly. It was the safety of their innocent world that fueled her fire. "Who are you?" Lisa pressed again, needing something concrete in the chaos. She couldn't shake the feeling that every word spoken now could shift her fragile reality. "Call me Ivy," the woman replied, her eyes glinting like fresh steel. "I've spent years watching this man manipulate lives. He has something he wants from you, Lisa. Something more than just control. If you allow him in, he will tear your family apart." "I'll protect my children at all costs," Lisa shot back, feeling the weight of her resolve. "Then let us not waste time." Ivy's voice, coated with urgency, sent a chill through Lisa as thunder rumbled ominously outside. Reluctantly, her curiosity wrestled against instinct. "What do you know?" "The man," Ivy began, "he's after something or someone you wouldn't expect. This is not just about threats and power, It's personal for him. But also, it could be personal for you too, if you let it be. The thunder seemed to agree, rumbling deeply as Lisa's stomach churned. What do you mean? I've seen his connection to your family, Ivy said, stepping even closer, her presence both intimidating and enthralling. You may be linked by blood in ways you don't yet understand, which is why he's coming for you. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. What secret had she buried in her past that could potentially endanger the twins? You can't be serious? I don't know how he could possibly. Trust me, I have proof, Ivy interjected, a glimmer of gentleness in her hardened expression. She pulled out a damp envelope from her jacket. Read this, and you'll understand how deeply this goes. A fragmented sense of dread pulled in Lisa's gut, but the urgency in Ivy's voice commanded her. She accepted the envelope, her fingers trembling, and pulled out a weathered piece of paper. The moment she glanced at the contents, recognition slammed into her like a freight train. No, whispered Lisa, her heart racing as memories lost in time resurfaced like a tidal wave. See? Ivy's gaze locked onto hers, the storm outside matching the swirl of emotions inside. You must choose your path. If you're going to fight back, you need to do it now. But before Lisa could respond, the lights flickered ominously overhead. A deafening crash of thunder exploded outside, causing the twins to scream in terror. Lisa dropped the paper, frustration boiling at the chaos surrounding them. Mommy! Jason cried out, his eyes wide as he darted closer, seeking refuge in her embrace. I need to protect them, Lisa thought desperately. This is it, Lisa, Ivy urged, her tone unyielding. Hold on to their safety, and we move forward together. But if we wait much longer, he'll come for you first. Just then, the power went out completely, plunging them into blackness. The twins huddled closer, whimpering softly in the void of fear. Do you hear that? Ivy's voice was a whisper now, edged with fear. A subtle yet unmistakable sound crept through the walls, an echo of footsteps growing closer, shadows stalking their sanctuary. Mommy, I'm scared. Emma whimpered, clinging tighter to her brother. As panic surged through Lisa, fueling her adrenaline, she felt the weight of the unexpected choices closing in around her. Would Ivy truly be her ally against the threat that now loomed larger than ever? And just as she opened her mouth to scream for action, the door rattled violently, a foreboding reminder that time was running out. Would she answer the call to fight, or would her silence seal their doom? Who stood on the other side of the door? The storm outside had begun to echo the storm inside her heart, and the heart of danger lay waiting. The rattling of the door sent shockwaves through Lisa's body, her heart thundering in rhythm with the storm raging outside. The dim light from the bulb flickered, casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls like demons come to threaten them. Fear surged like a tidal wave, pouring over her as she clutched the twins tighter, willing herself to shield them from the chaos. Stay back! Ivy whispered, taking a step forward, her eyes trained on the door with a fierce intensity. If it's him, the doorknob began to turn slowly, the rusted metal creaking like the bones of a ghost. Lisa's breath hitched as she fought against the instinct to run, locking eyes with Ivy. The woman leaned closer, her voice even lower, a conspiratorial hush. You need to be ready. He just come in, he'll demand answers. And then it happened, a split second when the pressure of the storm seemed to press against the house, creating an almost suffocating silence. Lisa could feel every heartbeat, every flutter of her anxiety spiraling out of control. With a loud click, the door swung open, revealing a figure wrapped in shadows. Good evening, ladies, the voice dripped with a chilling calm that made her blood run cold. The man leaned against the frame, his face illuminated only by flashes of lightning, rendering his features both familiar and foreboding. Lisa's instincts screamed at her to grab the kids and run, but movement felt locked in fear's vice-like grasp. Daddy! Emma squeaked, incredulous joy mingling with terror, her small voice piercing through the suffocating air. Don't! Ivy hissed, stepping protectively in front of the children. He's not the man you thought. The figure chuckled, the sound sending ripples of dread through Lisa. Is that any way to greet family? I've come to check on my lovely angels, he said, fixing his eyes on the children, warmth dripping from his words but venom lurking beneath. No! Lisa found her voice, fierce and unyielding despite the trembling in her hands. You don't get to call yourself that. You abandoned us. His smile faltered ever so slightly, a flicker of annoyance breaking the surface, but he recovered quickly. We can work past that, can't we? This storm is just a little unfortunate coincidence, or perhaps fate is nudging us together for a reason. I don't want anything from you. Lisa's voice was defiant, laced with all the protective love swirling for her children. You need to leave. Leave? The man recoiled as though struck, his calm facade slipping into something darker. I think you need to reconsider. There are forces at play that are bigger than this house, Lisa. You've tangled the strings, and trust me, unraveling them won't be pretty. Ivy stepped forward again, raising her hands. We know what you want. It's not just about them. What did you do to threaten Lisa? Answer her. The moment hung heavily, air thick with unspoken truths as Lisa's heart raced wildly. The man's expression shifted, revealing a glimpse of the dark puzzle lurking behind his eyes. She could almost hear gears grinding against each other in the silence. You'll wish you hadn't gotten involved, he warned, chilling venom creeping into his voice. But I'm a generous man, why don't we make a deal? His smirk widened, unsettling and confident, as Lisa's mind whirled. The stakes were climbing, walls closing in, she needed to protect her children, but how far was she willing to go? Behind her, Emma and Jason's frightened faces filled her view. Mommy! They whimpered in unison, panic straining their small voices. Fury ignited within Lisa, giving her strength. I won't let you touch them. Not now, not ever. And just when it seemed the confrontation would reach a breaking point, the lights flickered back to life, illuminating the scene in harsh clarity. Time had run out, she had to make her choice, and quick. Would she strike a deal, risking everything for a chance at clarity, or stand firm against the man who had haunted her past? Behind the lingering shadows, the storm howled, and Lisa knew nothing would ever be the same again. In that instant, a piercing scream erupted from the shadows behind him, a sound that could only be described as hell itself opening its mouth. Who or what had followed him into their sanctuary? The tension in the room thickened, a choking mist of dread as the scream spiraled through the air. Lisa tensed, her heart pounding fiercely against her ribs. The figure at the door shifted slightly, and in that flicker of lightning illuminating the hallway, something emerged from the darkness behind him. It was small, too small to be an ordinary beast, but large enough to send a wave of primal fear ricocheting through Lisa's mind. She squinted, trying to make out its form. The eyes glistened, glowing with an otherworldly sheen, piercing through the dimness with predatory intent. Get back! Ivy shouted, instinctively pushing Lisa and the children behind her, forming a protective barrier that the twins didn't fully understand but instinctively trusted. What is that? Lisa managed, her voice a quiver as her gaze darted between the shadowy figure of their father and the lurking nightmare behind him. Something that belongs to me, he said smoothly, the confidence returning to his tone as he straightened. And you, Lisa, you've meddled in affairs far beyond your comprehension. The creature hissed, a low sound that rumbled in its throat like the growl of a beast. It took a step closer to the light, revealing glimmering, scaled skin. The twins gasped, clutching Ivy's shirt as they pressed tightly against her. It's your fault this thing is here, Ivy growled, her eyes narrowing. What do you want from us? Only what's rightfully mine, he replied, amusement dancing in his eyes as he leaned forward, enjoying their fear. You may think you shielded your children, but they're already a part of this game. This storm? It's just the beginning. What game? Lisa shouted, desperation clawing at her throat. She felt the anger surge again, instinctively driving her feet forward, even as panic gripped her. What have you done to them? His smile was chilling. I didn't do anything. The energy you've stirred attracts them. They want to play, Lisa. And I've come to collect my winnings. Collect? The implications coiled around her mind like a serpent. Her children's faces, wide with terror, fueled her rage. "You'll hurt them over my dead body!" A flicker of emotion flickered in his gaze, a deep-seated surprise at her defiance. "Perhaps that's the sort of spunk I need to find interesting." As if responding to his tone, the creature lunged forward, jaws snapping with a feral growl. Lisa's instincts kicked in. "Run!" she yelled, shoving Ivy and the twins toward the staircase. Time blurred and suspended as every second stretched. "Get to the attic! Hurry!" Thunder crashed outside, drowning out their cries. The Shadow Man's laughter echoed against the storm's howling wind as he stepped further into the room. "They won't be able to hide from me," he taunted, a predator enjoying the hunt. Lisa's pulse raced as she ushered the twins upward, each step heavy with dread. Her blood turned to ice as the realization clawed her chest. The storm had brought more than just rain, it had unleashed a force meant to tear their fragile family apart. In the attic, she turned to face her children, their wide eyes filled with confusion and fear. "Emma, Jason, listen to me." She knelt, forcing herself to breathe steady, capturing their gaze. "Whatever happens next, you stay together. You hear me? Don't let him separate you." Before they could respond, another crash rattled the window, and she quickly faced the entrance. The darkness loomed ominously below, and beneath it, the laughter followed them like a shadow, echoing through the house. But the attic held a secret. A trembling anticipation thrummed in Lisa's chest. In the back corner, a trunk lay half opened, a remnant from the past. Hope flickered within her. "Let us see what we're up against," she murmured, inching toward it as the storm outside roared louder and lightning flashed ominously, revealing a glimpse of the creature waiting below. What had she stumbled upon in the attic, and would it be enough to keep her children safe from the horrors of their past? While darkness swirled below, a new choice loomed above, waiting for her to seize it. The trunk creaked as Lisa lifted the lid, an ancient sound that echoed amidst the storm's relentless crashing. Dust danced in the air, catching fleeting glimmers of light as she peered inside. Old photographs, faded but still vibrant with memories, were piled haphazardly at the top. But beneath those remnants of the past, there were other things, objects that danced on the line between whimsical and eerie. "Mom, what's in there?" Emma asked, her voice a whisper laced with trepidation, eyes darting from the trunk to the stairway below. "Just some old things," Lisa replied, her heart racing. She dug deeper, her fingers brushing against something cold and metallic, a small charm bracelet, intricately carved with symbols she struggled to recognize. It pulsed softly in her hand, sending ripples of energy through her veins, a stark contrast to the darkness lurking beneath. "It feels weird," Jason said, taking a step back. "Like it's alive." "Maybe it is," Lisa murmured, clutching the bracelet until her knuckles turned white. Her mind raced with questions, recalling folklore from her childhood, stories of enchanted charms and hidden powers. Could this truly hold something magical? Or was it just a remnant of a life that was? A heavy thud resounded through the attic, causing the wooden beams to shudder. The darkness below shifted, as though the Shadow Man was inching closer. She could almost feel his malevolent gaze crawling up the stairs. "Stay close to me," she instructed fiercely. Another thud rang out, this time accompanied by the creature's low growl, the sound echoing like thunder across the expanse of their old home. The storm outside raged on, winds howling against the window like a restless beast demanding entry. "Ivy! Can you hold the door?" Lisa implored, her voice barely rising above the cacophony. Ivy nodded, determination sparking in her eyes as she took her position, not budging an inch. With the bracelet gripped tightly in her palm, Lisa directed her focus to the trunk once more. Her pulse quickened as she noticed a tattered journal tucked beneath the photographs. Could it be a clue, a guide? She pulled it out carefully, the weathered leather cover soft against her skin. Just as she began flipping through its pages, the floor shook violently beneath them. Another thunderclap followed, but this time it felt different. Pure searing panic pulsed through her. Flickering light flooded the room as lightning illuminated a path of dread below. "He is coming!" Ivy shouted over the din, her hands bracing against the wooden door. "It's too late!" "Wait!" Lisa yelled, her voice desperate as she scanned the journal. Scribbled notes filled the pages, remnants of an old incantation she could barely understand. The words twisted and turned, but one stood out amid the chaos. Hold the charm to protect. Only with the essence of love can darkness recede. Mom, what are you doing? Emma's voice quivered, tears wrought with fear glistening in her eyes. Trust me, Lisa barked back. The rhythmic pounding from the doorway grew fiercer, the beastly growl echoing more loudly as her heart raged against despair. We have to try. With trembling hands, she finally opened the bracelet, intending to entwine the essence of each heart around it, the unyielding love for her children. The world seemed to shift around them as she called upon memories of laughter, warmth, and safety. With each pulse of energy, she felt them binding her to the bond they all shared. Suddenly, the thunder outside roared louder than before, like an angry god unleashing wrath upon their sanctuary. Now! Lisa shouted, grasping the charm tightly and lifting it towards the door as Ivy slammed her body against it. A flash filled the attic, blinding and intense, illuminating the shadows that swirled, and for a moment, everything hung in suspended silence. What would happen next? Would the darkness somehow be banished, or would it envelop them all? At that moment of truth, a chilling whisper crawled up from below, "You think you can escape." The storm continued, but so did Lisa's defiance, ignited by the fierce love for her children. But what lay ahead? Was it light or darkness? And would their bond be strong enough to repel the horrors threatening to tear them apart? In the distance, a flicker of hope gleamed, but it felt hauntingly close to the edge of despair. A deafening silence filled the attic, suspended in time as if the air itself held its breath. The blinding flash faded, leaving behind a deep darkness, enveloping them. Lisa felt every hair on her body stand on end. Mom? What is happening? Emma's voice trembled, the innocence in her question piercing right through Lisa's heart. She fought against the rising wave of fear threatening to consume her. I don't know, Lisa stammered, trying to keep her voice steady. She squeezed the bracelet tighter, hoping desperately for some sign or signal, but all she found was that chilling silence. The growl escalated, morphing into a roar that seemed to vibrate through the rafters, shaking the walls of their old house. Ivy strained against the door, her face contorted with effort, but Lisa could see the fear creeping into her friend's eyes. Another shudder rattled the floorboards, startling Jason into a whimper. The shadows at the bottom of the stairs malfunctioned, twisting and warping, taking vague humanoid shapes that clawed at the edges of her reality. Each shudder felt like an omen, a warning that time was running out. Desperation ignited in Lisa. We have to recite the words, she cried, flipping through the journal's pages in search of the incantation. She could barely process the letters. Panic clouded her mind. Mom, don't! Jason's voice cut through her haze. What if it makes things worse? His fear, raw and real, anchored her to the moment. We have to take that risk, she countered earnestly, her eyes shooting back to the flickering shadows. If we do nothing, we'll lose everything. As Lisa flipped back to the incantation, Ivy called out, There's something wrong. They're changing. They're not just shadows anymore. With each second, the darkness shifted, revealing glimmers of eyes, milky, hollow pools staring back at her, devoid of humanity. They bored directly into Lisa's soul, drawing warmth from her heart, feeding on her fear. Recite it, Ivy urged, digging her shoulder harder against the door, but it rattled as if something was testing its integrity, the wood straining against the impending force. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. For my children, for our love, she began, the words flowing without hesitation, as if the bracelet was guiding her. The shadows writhed, shrieking in anger as the light from her heart surged into the charm. Only with the essence of love can darkness recede, she shouted, conviction rising in her voice. The moment her voice struck the air, the dark figures recoiled, screeching. The monsters didn't fade. Instead, they morphed, shrinking back, the chill in the air fading slightly with every word Lisa spoke. I can feel it, Ivy cried. It's working. But the shadows retaliated, releasing a howl that could have shattered glass. The force against the door turned from merely oppressive to violent, splintering the wood encasing them. The girls glanced nervously at one another, hearts racing in time to the escalating chaos. The journal began to glow faintly, the pages fluttering wildly as if caught in an invisible storm. A wave of energy surged through Lisa as she delivered the final incantation. Just then, a high-pitched scream pierced the air, and the shadows convulsed, wavering and flickering like a faulty light bulb. A sudden gust rumbled through the attic, sending her hair flying. "Keep going!" Ivy yelled, fear mixed with determination. Still, Lisa felt her strength waning, the darkness clawing at her resolve. The sounds of the storm outside grew sharper, enveloping her in an icy grip, and Lisa knew they were running out of time. "We have to push through!" she cried as another wave crashed against the door, this one stronger, more relentless. She closed her eyes, recalling the faces of her children, the feel of their hugs, the weight of their laughter. That warmth, that undeniable love, surged through her once more, filling her with a fierce, radiant light, and then, a treacherous whisper echoed in the back of her mind, a cruel taunt taunting that love, "You can't stop this, you're all alone." But were they, in that moment of clarity, she seized the bracelet, focusing on the bond that tied them all together. With lungs full of hope and defiance, she shouted, "We are not alone!" The shadows shrieked, the echoes intertwining with the howl of the storm, but the weight of her words fell into place. A final pulse of energy radiated from her, igniting the charm. Would it be enough? Even as the door shuddered threateningly, a brilliant light began to bloom in the attic, swirling and dancing, merging with the shadows fighting to hold their ground. Lisa could feel the energy shifting beneath her feet, lifting her resolve. But with each passing heartbeat, one question pressed down, seeping her certainty: what if the darkness had a plan of its own? As the light started to break through the heavy encroachment of shadows, a deep voice cut through the clamor: "You think your love can defeat me?" And just like that, the storm outside roared, and the world shattered into chaos again, leaving Lisa wondering what was to come next. Lisa felt the energy around her pulse faster, each beat becoming a tangible force that surged through her. The darkness writhed against the light, a tug-of-war that resonated deep within her bones. With Ivy pressing against the door, she could sense the desperation for an escape, urgency lacing the air. "We can't give in!" she shouted, her voice rising above the chaos. "Keep pushing!" Ivy echoed, determination clear in her eyes. Together, with courage threading through her veins, Lisa raised the glowing charm toward the shadows and yelled the incantation again with unwavering certainty. Only with the essence of love can darkness recede. This time, the words came alive, swirling like a tempest, vibrating with newfound strength. The shadows contorted violently, shrieking as if they could feel the very fabric of their being unraveling. The children clung to Ivy, wide eyes reflecting the intense glow radiating from the charm. "Mommy, I'm scared," Emma whimpered, burying her face against Ivy's shoulder. Lisa's heart tightened with resolve. "I'm here, my loves! We will get through this!" With every word, every pulse of light from the bracelet, the shadows began to recede, fighting against the binding nature of her love. The air felt electric, charged with pure emotion as whispers danced through the darkness, their cries morphing from taunts into wails of despair. "Hold fast," Ivy urged, gritting her teeth as the door shuddered violently. "They are new to this power. Your love can disarm them." The brilliance wrapped around the trunk, the old journal glowing brighter, its pages flipping wildly. "If we can find the key to their origin, maybe we can vanquish them for good," Lisa said, glancing over the glow, frantically searching through the journal. The thunder erupted outside, reverberating through the walls as the creature put its full weight against the door. Lisa's eyes darted back to her children, their small forms nestled together against the storm, her reason to fight. "Now!" Ivy shouted as another crash echoed, the door splintering. Lisa shouted out the final words she had memorized: "You cannot enter while love stands before you." Suddenly, a burst of radiance erupted, bright and blinding, unifying the darkness into a whirlpool of glistening shapes that twisted, desperate to escape the light. The charm flared like a sun, illuminating the room, reflecting hope and strength. For the first time, Lisa felt a sense of control rather than the oppressive weight she had endured for far too long. push through our love," Ivy declared, as the shadows twisted wildly, caught between the light and the binding force of the charm. And then everything fell silent. A piercing scream cut through the air once more. It split Lisa's heart. The shadows stopped moving, held in place by the compelling warmth emanating from the charm. With one last surge, she felt the essence of every hug, every gentle word, every bedtime story and whispered assurance course through her. "For my twins!" she shouted, her voice drowning out the chilling howl of the darkness. Then, like a bursting dam, the light surged forth in dazzling brilliance, engulfing the shadows completely. It pushed them back into the very corners from which they came, gripping every inch of fear until it dissolved in the warmth of love. The creature emitted one final roar, fading into nothingness as the shadows evaporated, swallowed whole by the embrace of light. As the room filled with a bright glow, Lisa squeezed her eyes shut, holding on to the moment tightly, praying that this was not just a temporary reprieve. When she finally opened them, the attic was quiet, the storm outside losing its ferocity, lessening to a gentle patter against the windows. The light shimmered softly, a tranquil glow. "Mommy?" Jason's voice was a whisper, filled with hope. She turned to find her children safe, each still holding on to Ivy. "It's okay, sweethearts. We did it!" The weight on her heart began to lift as they embraced each other tightly. Ivy, still holding her position in front of the door, smiled with a mixture of relief and pride. "You fought for them, Lisa. You're a warrior, and they will always be safe as long as you stand strong." For that moment, with the remnants of battle lingering in the air, they knew a transformation had taken place. The storm was no longer a harbinger of chaos but instead, a reminder of the strength they had found within themselves. As they descended from the attic, the oppressive weight of the shadows melted away, the remnants of fear giving way to the bonds of love and resilience they had forged together. Lisa peered out the window, watching as the sun began to break through the clouds, casting radiant beams of warmth over their home. She turned back to her children, who smiled up at her, hope shining in their eyes. "From now on, we stick together always," she promised, and she would make it her vow. And with that, in the aftermath of the storm, one nightmare behind them, a new journey lay ahead, one built on love and unwavering strength. Now is your turn to act. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss any more exclusive stories like this one. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section below with your reactions and thoughts about this wild ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this conclusion. Your support matters. Let us grow this amazing community together.